Hi guys, welcome back to the SU Pod.
The podcast where we put you back in community. My name is Evie.
And I'm Emily, and we're so glad to be here for another episode. This is our, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. We're 22.
We're the same person. I was going to sing the same thing.
I know, I almost sang it last week, and then I was like, no, let me wait till like next week. And now we're here. We're 22 years old. We're feeling 22. We're in our
and I'm literally 22 too. So
I know. Hey,
it's really great out here.
Oh my god!
I love it.
Hi. That's crazy.
Hi.
We say that every week, but every week we're on here is such an accomplishment. Like,
yeah, because then, like we did
really,
it.
Like it's so huge, but it's like that's so like every single week, like we're here. Like every single week, like that's so crazy. Like that's one step. Like, that's so crazy. I still can't wrap my head around it. I'll say that every week because I never want to.
I know. I was talking to our friend. Shout out to Angelica. I was telling her, and that's so stupid the way I said Angelica. I was talking to Angelica, and I was telling her, I was like, I can't believe it's been 22 weeks. Like, and that doesn't sound like a lot. But it is. It's a good accomplishment. Like we've been consistent for a few months, and that's so awesome. Like I feel like this is the first thing I've been like, boom, boom, boom. Like we're knocking it out. We're consistent. I'm proud of us.
I love it. No, and it's just I get to do this with you, and that's like on itself so amazing. Please. Like I genuinely so amazing. I wouldn't want anyone.
Yeah, else. I have the best podcast partner. Not to brag, but like, if you're listening to this and you're gonna start a podcast, you already have the best. Sorry. I already have the best podcast partner. So good luck.
Yeah, guys. Sorry about that. You snooze, you lose.
We're so stupid.
anyways. But hi guys. How are you?
Hey guys.
How are you?
Honestly, like. Before this episode, I was having a whole sneeze attack. These allergies.
Yeah, girl,
like,
she was dying.
Life? I was literally dying. Like, what is this? I kind of still sound like nasally, but it's fine. Other than being nasally, I'm okay. I've just been so tired lately, and no sé qué eso, pero I'm just trying my best to like stay alive, and just get through the week. Emily, how are you doing?
Girl,
be honest, mamas.
Be honest. I don't know. I'm just here. It's been a crazy week. Like it started off with a lot of highs, and then those highs kind of turned into lows. Thinking back on it, and then the rest of the week has kind of been like kind of bad, low key. Like it's just a lot going on. It's like a lot of people. It's just a lot. And I feel like I'm entering my introvert era. I don't want to go out. I want to be home. Like there's very few people right now that I'm like, wow, like I really want to see them, i.e. you. But like other than that, like obviously like my friends that live an hour away, like those are the people like right now, hang out with y'all, immediately feel better. But like anybody else that I know right now, which is like kind of sad, but like yeah, like literally, I don't know. I just like want to be home right now. It's different. It's so different, and like I'm always like, oh, like yeah, let's go out, let's hang out, blah, blah, blah. But I honestly right now I'm just like in this season where like I need to recuperate on myself because it's just a lot. It's a lot happening in my life. It's a lot that I am still struggling and still figure out. So it's just, I don't know. It's just a very confusing time, but I am happy to be doing this today. Like I needed this. And even though like, yeah, like I've been stressed out throughout the week, like I need this. I need to recuperate. I need to like have a moment where I'm vulnerable and honest and decompress. So yeah. This is
not over yet.
I know.
And the week's not over yet. That could change. You can go back to your high moments. And I pray for that. And you mentioned something that we're going to talk about. You said, I just want to be away. Just want to be by myself. Just want to have those moments. But today's episode, we're going to be talking about solitude and kind of what that means for us. We're going to go over like kind of where we are in this season. if we are in a season of solitude or what that kind of looks like, and just those differences between being alone, feeling lonely, and solitude itself. So we're gonna get into this conversation. I'm so excited because I think this is a season that um I think for me personally, like I've tried more to be okay with being alone. So solitude to me is not just a mindset because it could be like a decompressing moment where you're trying to just be better for yourself, have a moment for yourself, but at the same time, kind of limit all distractions that try to embark or try to rob your peace any
Yeah.
type of way. Solitude to me is peace. Solitude to me is if it's a place, it's the beach. It's far away,
Yeah.
somewhere that's not where my problems are, somewhere that not where many people are either. Like
Right.
when I think of solitude, I think of being alone but being content about it. And I think sometimes when we're
Mm.
alone, it could be associated with negative a
Right. Of
negative
course.
connotation, like, oh, if you're alone, like you must be sad. Like, no, I just want solitude. I just want to be in a peaceful place. I want to be calm. And sometimes you can have solitude with another person. But for me, solitude is when I'm really just owning in on a moment, and it could just be like me and another person or me by myself, and just in a more of a relaxed mindset, not in a mindset of like, oh, I need to separate, I need to do this for me, but it's just like I want this.
Right.
And sometimes it can be hard to get, but I think it's always necessary. What do you feel like? I mean, do you feel the same way? Do you feel differently?
I honestly like solitude for me has kind of gotten a different meaning recently. I feel like I was scared of solitude for a while just because I like I'm saying like again ugh, the way it just matches exactly what I'm going through and I say that every week. Like you guys think it's a joke. Like it's so crazy how it literally like guys, I can't plan this. I literally can't plan this. Like just like how we started the episode. I think I've wanted to for a while, be that person that like I love going out. I love that. Don't get me wrong. Like a good kiki, a little good hangout, like I love.
Yeah.
But honestly, to have that moment of just solely you and by yourself and just having that moment of kind of recuperation, it's it's less scary. And I think I've always imagined
Hmm.
solitude as like a place where you're separated by like not by your choice. I feel like and,
Right.
in reference to like God and stuff like that, I feel like um and stuff like that. When in reference when God's plan, um it feels like when God like tells me like you're entering or you're in a season of solitude, it's always been I've related it to like, oh, it's not what I want, or like it's not something that I did. But
Yeah.
now it's like something that I seek because in those moments of solitude I've never been closer with God. Like I've never been
Hmm.
closer than in those moments. Um and it's literally and it's not like I don't know how best to describe it. I guess the prodigal son is kind of the most, I guess, or just like Israel. And I go to a Christian school, and we're learning about you know and I have to ace that class, girl. If I don't ace it, it's like Spanish.
Yeah.
If you're Hispanic and you don't the ace Spanish, you're kind of like kicked out. Like you're kicked out of the club.
Right.
But like literally, and so I was like, I'm reading over Judges and stuff like that, and um, Israel's constant return, and it's like I think I'm going through that process right now, where I was really like on fire for a good minute, and then I kind of distanced myself, and I wasn't at church all the time, or I wasn't doing certain things all the time. And then I got into a moment of like, oh, like let me go back to the way it was, because I at least I remember that being fun. And now I'm kind of returning to that
Mm.
moment of like, wow, like I need God to get me out of this, like um and now I'm like begging for that solitude that I wanted to get out of. I'm begging for that moment with God, just us where I don't feel like I have to feel pressured by other people or by society. So really that's what solitude is. That's kind of what I've been feeling recently. Um, and yeah, I think right now, like I said, um, I'm looking for that solitude. Um, but I honestly think that right now I'm in a place where I need to figure out not just who I want to be, but the
Mm-hmm.
real me, who I am right now. And I think I've been surrounded by a lot of people in the past who were not supposed to
Yeah.
be in my life. And I kept them in
Mm-hmm.
my life because being with people felt safer than being in solitude and being alone.
Yes, I get that.
And it really sucks because I love having friends. I love having my girls around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but some people I've just haven't talked to, and I've never
Right.
felt freer. I don't have that constant
Mm-hmm.
worry in the back of my mind. I don't, feel like I have to cover up who I am, or like what even I believe in, which is the most basic of who I am. Me being a Christian, like, and right now I'm like, I think I need to be choosing that solitude that God is offering, because I
Right.
think it is an offering. Like at first it is a
Yeah.
surrender. Solitude is a surrender, and it's a place where you get to be just you. Yes, you. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I know I had to tagline it. I had to, and it was right there.
You had to.
And it's funny because today I was writing a report, or like for college essay. I applied to another college, and I've been applying to so many colleges. And today I applied, like, by the way, seniors apply for the Common App. Do it now. What are we like? It's so, do it now.
Not
Do it, like,
sponsored,
literally.
but sponsored.
Not sponsored by the Common App, but please join the Common App. It's so easy to just apply to many colleges at once. It's such a great opportunity, and it takes a good minute. It took me like an hour to do it all, an hour and a half, but it's worth it. So, but anyways, I was writing my college essay, and in my essay, I talked about my experience, like when I went to New York. And last year, I had that experience in New York where I went to this summer program for an art institute, and it was one of the best moments of my life. I felt so free, and I met so many people, and I learned so much about the art world and things that I want to get into, and the business aspects of it and all these things. But looking back, the person that I was pretending to be to fit in was having a moment. And the real girly was really struggling mentally, emotionally, and she was just going through it. And so in the essay that I wrote today, I was like, I want a second chance at those great moments. Looking back throughout my life, I wish I went back to the moments where I was scared of solitude, and I wish I would have
Mm-hmm.
changed my attitude and been okay with being who I am, which is,
Yeah.
I like being alone. I like being left alone.
Yeah.
I get annoyed so easily. Like, I get annoyed with people so easily. Like, I don't want to be like, being okay with not being a certain figment of my imagination, or a certain, type of person, and changing those memories to being just me, and being okay with being just me, and understanding that I can be just me in my moments of solitude, in my moments of being alone in a world like this. And I just want to share that because today I was thinking about it for a good minute as I was writing. And girl, and I know it comes from God when I'm typing for a good 15 minutes and I don't know that I haven't taken a break. Like I didn't realize till after the 15 minutes. I'm like, whoa, I've been typing for like straight like for a whole minute. Like what the heck? And so yeah, that's where I'm like my headspace is at. Like my head is always in some kind of regret, girl, of the past. But I think it's also because
No.
we want to heal and we want to move on, but it's also like hard when, there's moments like that where I wish I would have grown in my solitude. I wish I would have, you know, been okay with being alone.
Yeah. And I think what you said earlier, like we're such people that not just us, but like as humans beings, like we're not meant to be alone, right? So we
Yeah.
just think that, or we just are so used to having people around us all the time. Like
Right.
we look for the crowd, we look for the groups, we look for
Right.
another person, or if we go somewhere, we don't want to go alone. Like just constant need for people to be there, like constant need of company.
Yeah.
And I remember like last year, I think told you about this. I just felt so
Mhm.
strongly. I was hanging out with a lot of people at the time, and I remember God was like pressing on my heart to separate. And I was like, what is this? Like, what is this talking
Yeah.
about some separation? Like, what is that? Because no, I don't want to be by myself. I don't like being by myself because when I'm by myself, I know where my mind can go, and I don't want to be alone. And I'm just not used to that.
Right.
And I remember like calling someone and they're telling me like, oh, I'm so happy for you. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, why are you happy for me? They're like, because this is your time with God. Like, you're gonna grow. I was like, no, but I want to grow, but with
I don't want
people. Like, I don't live by
Yeah.
myself. And it's hard to grasp when we're just so used to being present and
Yeah.
people's and everything, like present in every moment. But
Right.
I was talking to someone today and I was telling them how because we're not present in certain places and we're alone, people
Yeah.
think that that is like bad. And I was just saying like because I'm not write this point down. I was just
Oh,
like if
get
we're
him, come
not
on.
I would no, I was just saying like if I'm not present, it doesn't mean I'm lacking his presence. Like it doesn't mean that I
Right.
am alone in that sense. Like that doesn't mean that spiritually I'm not okay just because I'm
Yeah.
taking a moment of solitude. I can literally be fine. I
Right.
can be just doing my own thing. I could be having my own spiritual journey. It doesn't your journey doesn't require everyone's approval at the end of the day. So our moments of solitude, like it is going to be a moment of us and God walking in this walk, or you.
Right.
And if you're not a believer, like you walking into this moment of you finding out who you are, discovering bits and pieces of yourself and what you need to better. But I think people see solitude with a negative connotation, and I know I did too. So that's why
Yeah.
when I was talking to our friend, I was just like, wow, like because people are so used to seeing us in crowds with
Right.
people when we are by ourselves it could be alarming to them.
Yeah.
But fear not, because I know that if I'm not present, I'm not lacking his presence. Like I'm gonna be
Amen.
okay. Like
Yeah.
and I don't know, that just really got me because I know that in this season right now I am taking a moment of solitude from the things
Right.
that people are used to seeing me do.
Right.
um and again, that is for me to take on by myself, with God, and not for other people to judge or
Mm.
to have a say in. But it just really got me, and I wanted to bring that up only because like that's where I am right now, at
Yeah.
least. And I know you said like how you had that moment today of reflection of just thinking of where you were a year ago and being like,
Yeah.
I was in this mindset at this time and I was with these people, but it's not into your moments of solitude where you can be your authentic self.
Right.
Um, and that's what I had to say. I
And
don't
I think no,
know.
I literally thank you so much for sharing that because it's this idea of that like, um, a lot of times we do enjoy the company of people, but sometimes we get into this toxic idea that, you know, if we have people, we have value. And what we talked about in our self love episode,
Yeah,
which go check back to that episode and catch up on our last episodes,
right. Low
Finish this one
plug.
and then go back. Yeah, a little plug on our own podcast, yeah. But on our, last actually couple episodes we've been talking about it like um I think that like if people see us alone, then we seem unwanted, which I've had those experiences before where I would like
Mhm.
literally a lot, and we talked about this like literally a day ago.
Yeah.
Like I would
Mhm.
say like little white lies about like, oh yeah, like I'm hanging out with my friend on Saturday. What friend? What activity? Where? Who? Like no, like, and it was just because like I wanted to seem cooler. Because if you are,
Mhm.
if you have more people in your life, or you are, you seem other people are interested in you, then you seem interesting. And it was this, oh, it was so bad, and it was such like a toxic. It is a toxic mentality that I still struggle with because it's this like I want to be wanted, and
Yeah.
that idea of being in solitude or running your life solo for the time being is scary because you think that it takes away you being wanted. You are taken
Right.
out of, and that's why we describe solitude as not just, a it's, sometimes it's a physical place. Sometimes you're moved from where you were
Mhm.
or where you are to like a place where you have to be like by yourself. And like if it's moving to a new city, to a new job, like different things like that could be solitude for you, but also just like a mindset of like God is kind of changing your heart
Right.
and changing your mind where you are separating yourself from these certain people. And now it's like, will this affect how future people will see me? And sometimes we believe that,
Yeah.
like, will I still be wanted? And I think this is like
Mhm.
our, innate, like, human want and need for community and a want to belong in a place. And when we're stripped from that, it makes us feel not human. But
Yeah.
I think that's honestly a telltale sign that you are chosen for something greater than to just be human. Like you are chosen, you are picked, and you are loved by God. And that doesn't make you just ordinary. It makes you loved and a Christian. It makes you wanted and selected. And I think it's a very hard process to go through because we don't immediately feel those effects. Like sometimes people spend years
Yeah.
distancing themselves slowly and slowly, and in these moments where they feel like they can't connect with people, they feel like they're drifting away from their own families, where they feel like they're being set apart for something, and it takes years to finally feel, you know, wow, like all I need is God, or God
Yeah.
was doing something greater. It sometimes takes years, and I think so. I think that's why people are scared of it because
Mhm.
if solitude was, you know, in the sense when we're referencing Christ in our journey, if solitude was a physical place where you could step in for 5 minutes, everyone would do it. If solitude was a place you
Exactly.
could kind of like I don't know, like a tanning bed, and you get in and you close the tanning
Yeah.
bed and you sit there for 15 minutes and then you go out and you're grown and you're healed and you're restored and you have a better relationship with everybody and you're a better person. If that was it, everyone would do it. But that is why we are the chosen few, why we're God's chosen people, because we are not meant to go through hard things fast. We are meant to go through it hard and punishing, and it's gonna hurt and it's gonna scrape and it's gonna make us feel like we have been abandoned. But it's because at the end the growth is gonna be like something we've never seen before. And I think
Amen.
in our moments where we feel like we are being put in a space, which I also like want to cover that because like
Mhm.
being alone versus being lonely, and that's like the big how people are feeling
Right.
like we there is a huge difference between being alone and being lonely. I feel like I've had moments very recently, quite literally today, where I'm like, I want to be alone and I won't feel lonely. Like, I'm okay with being in my own presence. But,
Yeah.
like, even though I say, like, I didn't, and I didn't, I went through moments where I didn't want to connect with people and I distanced myself and I created my own self solitude within my own mind and my own heart. But I know what it's like to feel that true loneliness. That, like, if I am not with people, or people aren't texting me, or if my phone's dry, or if I'm not being posted, then I'm unwanted, that I don't have friends, and that I'm truly, like, that feeling of lonely. Um, and do you think that you feel better now, or are you still going through your moments where you, in your, and you being alone, you feel lonely? Or is it that something that you struggled more with the past? Like, what is that for
I
you?
think that now, yeah, I think that now I know my. I think before the struggle was more, it wasn't I was scared to be alone because I'm so used to being with people, but it was also knowing that my circle or the people that I counted on weren't going to be there back for me.
Mm,
And I think that's part of it. Like, you know, that people aren't going to be there in the same way when you go into a moment of solitude, and that's not okay.
yeah.
Um, like, you shouldn't lose people because you're taking time for yourself and with God.
Right.
So I know that at the time, I think that was my fear, and I knew it, but I didn't want to admit it. Like, I
Mm,
didn't want to admit that my friends that were my friends weren't going to be my friends anymore.
right.
Because I was taking a time away, because I wasn't going to be so pressing to check on people, because I wasn't going to be there for them as much. Um, I think now I'm in a place where, yes, I'm alone. If I'm alone, I still know who has me and who's okay with it.
Yeah.
Anybody who's your friend, I always say this, anybody who's your friend and communicates with you, like, this is what I'm doing, there shouldn't be a moment of judgment. But where their communication kind of fails, is where it's like it's up in the air, like you don't know where the person is mentally. So I
Yeah.
think, like, right now, I know where I am mentally. I know who my circle is. I know who my friends are. And if I tell my friends, if I tell my family, whoever it is, I'm taking this moment of solitude because I need to work on this, I'm not gonna feel alone. I'm not gonna feel lonely because I know that I have people backing me up in prayer. I know that I have people there for me that are uplifting me in the behind the scenes. I know that I have someone to go to if I get into somewhere that is deeper than what I thought I was going to get into. Because let's be honest, like, we can get into moments of solitude and we can think, yeah, this is going to be fine. This just, but sometimes our thoughts get the best of us and we kind of do end up feeling sad. Like, and there's an inevitable feeling like, yes, I'm taking time to be alone, but then it's like, oh no, was this the right decision? Like, or did
Right.
I do this because I wanted to, or because I felt like God was calling me to do it? Like, so many, so many options, so many things play a part of that.
Right.
Um, so I think now I feel way better about it. Um, but I do understand everything. Like, I could look back a year ago and be like, dang, I understand why you didn't want to go into a moment of solitude. Because it's just like
Right.
you said, it's not just a place that we can go into
Yeah.
and get out of and be healed. It's
Right.
a work.
Right.
You can be moments of solitude for months. Like,
Right.
it could be a whole season. Like, I know friends
Yeah.
have done it for a season. And they'd be like, hey guys, I'll be right back. Gotta have this time for my family, for my solitude, and see you later. And that's
Yeah.
okay. Um, but I think I remember last year too when I was going through this, I was in therapy and I was telling my therapist, like, I just feel like separation, like God's calling me to isolation. And it was so much. And she was just like, can you like take PTO or something? Like, or can you? Because it's like, she's like, I've been in this moment before and I just had
Yeah.
took time from everything. And I was like, well, that must be so
Wow.
nice, but it's not practical for everyone to just detach from
Yeah.
the world. Like, it's just really not.
Exactly.
Like, and even though I wanted to do it so bad, I'm like, I want to quit my job.
I know.
But it's just not practical.
Yeah.
Um, but it really is like, if you're, yes, we should be serious about this, but like, just like that, like, you take an act and you never know how far God will take you, like, to act on that moment of solitude or however far He's calling you deep into it. But it just really blew my mind how we all feel, not all of us, but we all have these moments
Right.
where we can get into this type of season. That there's a big difference just knowing that you're not alone because God is with you. Like, that's my biggest thing. I remember um, COVID was a big season of isolation for everyone, and it was a season and where personally I was going through a big transition in my life. I knew I wasn't gonna have people around me anymore, just like I had in the past years because of a decision that I was making to leave the church I was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just knew that I wasn't gonna get that same, again, that friend group, those people.
Yeah.
I just knew it. And I was like, God, like I don't want to lose people. But then I kept reading scripture, and every word I would turn to would be like, "You're not alone. I am with you. I am with you. I
Wow.
am with you."
Yeah.
And I think that was my comfort, and that was my word in the season. It was like, I'm there. Like I'm there.
Yeah.
And even if you feel alone, I'm there. Even if you're separating because of me, I'm there with you. Like your
Yeah.
presence, I haven't left you.
That's
Um,
so good.
so
Amen.
yeah.
No, and I love
That's
that, and you're eating because that's literally um my song right now in this season is Refiner by Maverick City.
yes.
And honestly, it's taken such a different meaning when I was talking to my dad because he preached recently. Um, and in his preaching, he was describing um, how, like, the sacrifices were made. And he was talking about how Abraham and Isaac, like, if Abraham went through it, he wouldn't just, stick a knife to him and that's it. Like, no, he would have to
Right.
gut him, which this is going to get very graphic. Like, he would literally have
Uh,
to gut him,
yeah.
clean him out, and then burn him. So when we ask
Yeah.
God, in the song it says, I want to be tried by fire, purified. You
Oof.
take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. And it's like, no, but do you know what you're asking for? Like,
Mm.
you are not just going to be,
Yeah.
and that's why, like, the story of Abraham and Isaac, like that simple story, you can take so many meanings from it because it was a purifying sacrifice. And it was like it would literally be that, a complete and total stripped down sacrifice, not just like knife in the chest. Like,
Yeah.
when we ask God to burn us, and when we talk about fill me up, God, he can't do that if you're full.
Yeah.
He needs to
Right.
literally take everything out of you. And that's why we have these moments of solitude, because it's again super graphic, but you have to understand it, like, in your mind, like when we sing and we ask God to purify us and burn us and use us as vessels, he literally has to clean us out and
Wow.
literally burn our lives up so he can start from a
Yeah.
clean slate. And I think that has taken a whole new meaning. And I'm like, I'm not just gonna pray anymore, God, use me, let me be your vessel. Like, no, because it's like, you know what you're asking for? Like, you're literally going to be taken
Right.
out of everything that you know. He is burning from the inside out. And you can't pick and choose what you
Mm.
can keep. Abraham,
Right.
just like God, he was trying to test him if he would give his only son. Like,
Well.
that was the sacrifice. If he would give his one and
Yeah.
only. And that's what God did. He was able to be given completely as a total sacrifice because that was all he had. So no, when you
Yeah.
are asking God to build your life, he's not going to take, that one coworker that you're friends with, that it's like, you're not really friends with, but you're friends with. Like, no, he's going to take the most important people in your life. He'll probably take your family, like
Well.
things that don't need to be in your life
Yeah.
away, because that is the purest sacrifice. He doesn't want your scraps.
Mm-hmm.
He wants all of you, the most important things to you, because he needs to be the number one. And that,
Yeah.
after, like, I gave that new perspective, I'm like, Lord, I'm gonna be so careful what I pray for. And, like, I need to rearrange my priorities, because it's so different when you imagine yourself giving up so much like that. Because it's very easy to say, like, Christ died for you, like this and this. Like, no, like, he literally gave the purest sacrifice. He gave
Well.
all of himself. And that's what solitude is. You are going to have to give all of yourself, but that's why it is a good thing, because God's going to build up something greater, something stronger, something
Mm.
newer. And I think that's the most beautiful outcome. And of course, it's not going to be easy. Like, no one said it was going to be easy. everyone's saying it's literally hard. It's probably the hardest thing you're ever going to encounter, but it is worth it. And I'm glad that we're able to have conversations like this because it is a reminder of me, like for me specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, of course, we're doing this for you guys. Yes, you, but it's also for yes, me. Like, I need to be more conscious, like, in the things that I do and realize that in my moments of solitude, like, it's not just, sitting there and doing nothing. Like, God is purifying inside out. And it's going to hurt and it's going to feel so uncomfortable and you're not going to understand. But we're burning just for Him. Only for you. Guys, I'm obsessed with that song right now. It's like that's it. But yes. Oh my gosh. That final
No,
breath. I'm digressed. Oh, I can sleep now.
that was a preaching, that was a worship, that was everything.
Oh my gosh.
That was so good, and just everything that you said in terms of like it really is just the most purest parts and everything that He
Yeah.
wants. Solitude is a sacrifice. Everything that we do is a sacrifice, but like it really is just to put everything aside and just focus and or just to be one within ourselves. Right. Like it's so good, and I'm so happy that we got to cover this topic this week. So I know something that we've been talking about behind the scenes on the pod, before the pod, and after.
I know.
But I'm glad we were able to just bring light on this word of solitude. I know it could be scary for some, but I'm glad that it got a positive light today. Even if it's a scary sacrifice, solitude is sacrifice, but solitude is worth it.
Right. And that's oof. And honestly, let's write this down because sacrifice on itself could be a whole other episode. So watch out for that. But yes. We love you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to follow us on all LSU Pod socials. Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Yes. Google us. I think we're on Google somewhere.
Yes. Rate our show 5 stars. And
rate
comment
us.
what you want to hear about on the next episode.
Yes. Send this to your friends.
Please.
The friend of your friends. The grandmas of your friends. The grandma's sister's cousin that was twice removed. Your grandma's sister's cousin's twice removed dog. They'll love that. And
everyone.
Yeah. Everyone that you know. Everyone on your contact list. Go right now. Go right now. You're a fake fan.
Send this episode. Please.
No, yeah. Literally. But yes, we love you guys. And we'll see you for the next episode every week, Friday/Saturday.
Love y'all.
We love y'all. Bye.
Bye.